it's interesting because I mean, you're about to find out, right? Firsthand, apparently. You got something exciting going on,
Yeah.
bit of a movie coming up. What's going on there?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna be over, or don't really know the timeline, but you know, from here moving forward, going to be recording a journey of exploration into what they might term as psionics, or this sort of, I guess, the psionics, really, because everything that comes with that: telekinesis, telepathy, mind to mind connection with other entities. So not just with humans, right? Whether you call that CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, or something else. Um, yeah, going to be trying it. Going to be, interviewing people about all of these things. Going to be witnessing demonstrations live, for some of these things. And then, like I said, also trying it myself multiple different ways with different protocols, and because it's a whole game, right? There's a lot of thoughts and beliefs and theories about it. Some people say X, some people say Y, others say Z, about it. So who's right, who's wrong, what's going on, and really just going to share that journey in a documentary form, right? A film could turn out to be, maybe be a series, depending on, I don't know, right? How we package it. I'm working with a really, really good producer who has worked on stuff far greater than what we're doing with it. Like, I can't even believe he's working, with us. To be honest with you, because the guy's credentials are, insane. But he really likes the idea, and he's not familiar with this world. And it really, like you said way earlier in the show, like the topic is catching on. It's way more popular now. People are interested. Stuff has bubbled up in other parts of people's lives where that didn't bubble up before, right? They watched a particular show, maybe it's about sports, and they know Jim Bob, and I'm tuning into Jim Bob Monday through Friday on my way to work, and yeah, he how, and and then they start talking about aliens, and now it becomes, oh, Jim Bob's talking about aliens. You know what I mean? You don't have to necessarily go to UFO platforms like your show and my show, right? To find out about this. They're finding in other places. So it's just the flowers blooming more, right? So people are a little more excited, and and that's bringing some people on board who kind of want to do some projects about this. So that's kind of, what's happening.
Yeah, dude. I mean, the one of the biggest wild examples of that recently was Stephen Greer on Khloe Kardashian.
Yeah, totally.
I was like, "What?
Yeah.
What? Like that is crazy."
Yeah.
And but like I mean, it's crazy, but like how cool. And like I'm so curious, like how does Khloe Kardashian's audience, what do you guys think of that? That's what I that's what I want to know. How are you guys taking that, what Dr. Greer is saying?
Well, she is, they've been friendly with Dr. Greer for a while.
Really?
Yeah, Greer's very connected to like a lot of celebrities, and um, he has been for a long time. So, but either way, like you said, she puts him on the podcast and still platform.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, he's a crazy kook. No,
that's right.
it's I'm
They're
taking
taking him
this serious.
seriously.
Yeah, they're taking him seriously, and it's happening a lot more. And I mean, Stephen, what's the weird one is Stephen Greer went on Dana Carvey and David Spade's podcast. So they're two ex SNL members, Saturday Night Live members, right? Which is a famous sort of sketch comedy show in, New York, whatever, right? So they have a show called Fly on the Wall. They don't talk about this stuff. They bring Stephen Greer on. So their top episode of all time. The clips went viral over the holidays. Like, it was that was, like, okay, right? There's just a lot of moments like that have been happening a lot more and more and more. People are, because they call it UAP, and they bring up the government hearings or things that have
Yeah,
some sort of credibility that they can attach themselves to.
for sure, for sure.
So,
Well, let's keep going with the movie and stuff because
yeah.
you were openly kind of telling people, hey, maybe we should back up on just everyone getting out and trying to summon orbs, and now you've kind of flipped. So what was there a bit of a did you have to really think about whether you wanted to do this or not, or like how did that flip happen?
Um, I don't. That's a good question. I'm still very apprehensive about it, and that's part of the documentary, right? This is my real journey. It's that's why no one will be able to say in the documentary, "Oh, Patrick's, never said." No, I've been saying that for a long time. Just like you said, I don't know what I'm inviting into my mind. I don't know what's going on. What am I summoning, right? What if like something bad had like I don't know. That unknown is a little scary, and no one can really provide any safety protocol. So that's still a concern for me. That's still a. I look at it like jumping out of an airplane with a parachute. Like it's or no parachute. I don't know. I'm until it happens. Like I'm gonna do it, but I'm nervous up until the moment it's gonna happen. Like I'm still apprehensive about it. But I just thought if I'm going to cover the flip that you're talking about is more primarily I realized okay, if this is your job, you you have an opportunity that probably a lot of people would want if they could, right? Which is this sort of funded journey to explore this, right? And then share it. I thought, okay, I should look into this. If I'm going to talk about it, if I'm going to have opinions on it and I'm capable, I'm not saying everyone should do that. Not everyone has the time. They got jobs, they got lives. I get it. But this is my job. So, okay, let me go out and look into this thing and really explore it and just see what happens. I don't know what's up. I'm going in with a mirror, right? So
So
whatever is
you're
reflected is what
approached.
was reflected. Sort of. I mean, sort of. The company that produces my show, Vetted, right out of London, they also own a documentary company, and they
Right.
reached out and were just like, "Hey, man, we're thinking about maybe looking into UFO documentary or something. Can we just chat with you?" And I was just giving them ideas. I was just talking, and they were just asking me questions about the topic in general. And they kind of like, well, hey, what do you think of this? I mean, just chatting with you, let's propose. What do you think of this idea? And then I kind of was like, okay, that's interesting. Let me think about it. And then you just start to piece together exactly what could work for me if I'm going to do this. And that's it. And a lot of it's still malleable, man. So it'll change as time goes on. I don't want to say anything is concrete. I'm willing to change anything at the moment's notice if it's better for the project. So
Hmm.
something I say now could be different 2 months from now.
Okay. Yeah. And what does Mrs. Vetted think about you going out doing psionics in the desert?
Honestly, it's kind of just in one ear, out the other. It's kind of like, okay, good, have fun. It's like I
Is she,
just said I'm going to play pool with the boys. Like
okay.
it's like,
She interested in
okay.
this stuff?
I mean, to be fair, she's a little more she believes in more, otherworldly things than I do. Like for certain.
Oh, right.
I'm on the fence. I'm open-minded. I'm not saying one way or the other. I don't know yet. Right. I don't know if NHI has visited this planet yet. I'm not, haven't crossed that finish line yet. But my wife, I wouldn't say that, but like she, practices, I wouldn't say she practices, she used to Reiki and she'll lay out crystals and stuff. She's a little more spiritual and just kind of believes in energies and things and, just open to all of this stuff. But she's not looking into it all the time or watching stuff or, anything like that. But she's definitely very just kind of spiritual and definitely open
Yeah.
to a lot of this stuff.
No, that's cool, man. Have you thought about like how? Because obviously this documentary, well, at least your part in it, can only go two ways, right? You either go out there, you successfully do it, and it's pretty wild, or you go out there and it doesn't work. Have you
Yeah.
thought about how those potential outcomes might be seen, like or how or like uh, not about you personally, but about how if people start hearing that Vetted, you got 50K subscribers, decent sized channel, he went out into the desert, tried psionics, doesn't work. Do you think that could potentially like throw a spanner in the whole conversation of how legitimate this stuff is?
I mean, I would have to be very narcissistic to think anything I do is going to have an impact like that. But let's just hypothetically say that possibility is there. right? That the outcome of what I show in that documentary has some sort of effect on the topic. Let's just assume that that could be real. Um, I would say it doesn't matter. I would say that's not anything I'm concerned with. I can't I can't control that. I wouldn't even argue that even if it doesn't work for me, doesn't mean it doesn't work. Does that make sense? Like this is just my journey. So even if I'm like, oh, it worked for me, that doesn't mean it's real, right? And if it doesn't work, if I get nothing, that doesn't mean it's not real, right? It's kind of this is just my journey, and you may be able to take from it. It may inspire you to go do your own. It may inspire you to look into it. It may inspire you to not look into it. I don't know. I don't really care about that. I'm not really concerned with that because I feel like that to me is a bad road to go down if I start thinking, this is going to have an impact and what I say is the truth or not the truth. I'm not here to reveal the truth. I'm not here to make there's no claims, there's no promises, there's no secrets that are be revealed in this, I don't have sources. This is just my journey and you take from it what you will,
Yeah.
essentially.
No, I think that is awesome, and I think that's like the best way to go into it because, I mean, like there's the age old saying, right? It's not about the destination; it's about the journey.
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
go into it, if you go into it with this preconceived idea of what the outcome has to be, not only do I feel like the products probably wouldn't be as good, but I think that that part of it that isn't really authentic will probably show through. So I think the
Sure.
way you're going into it is fantastic.
You know what it is? It's you just I changed the destination. So I know the destination, but it's not what you would think, which is what you were asking, which is a great question, by the way, right? Like I'm not trying to reach the destination of is this real or not for to show in the documentary. My destination is just my journey, and that's subjective in and of itself. So it's just about what's the goal, right? So like you said, if your goal is that, then yeah, you're right. I think the product comes out more inferior, but my goal is just quite literally, like I said, I'm a mirror. I'm going in with a mirror. Just it's gonna reflect what I go through. That's it. Good, bad, ugly, sweet, awesome, funny, boring as hell. I don't know. What if it's the worst thing you've ever seen? I can't control that, right? Clearly, I'm gonna try to package it in a nice way to make it entertaining. But yeah, I'm not there to control the outcome.
That's great, and I think people will be happy to hear that as well because I think regardless, right? Like in this space, even I've been accused of being a psyop.
Of
You know what I
course.
mean? Like
Yeah.
everyone thinks you're up to something, and I get it. But,
Yeah.
that's just the nature of the business. But
Sure. It's
I
weird
think
though.
yeah, it is funny. You have to laugh, right? If you
Of
don't,
course.
I feel like if you take the comments and this stuff too seriously, you'll just eat yourself alive
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Good point.
the world is very fragmented and there is no one truth anymore. There's 50 different versions of it, and
Sure.
it can make for a chaotic place.